Today's video is answering a very popular question. What tank mates can you have for your dwarf cichlids? Welcome to the small Scape. Before we start off with the buddies, I thought it would be fun to kind of overview all the different kinds of dwarf cichlids that you can keep in a 20-gallon. It's probably the minimum tank size, so of course you can go up from here, but minimum tank size for a lot of these fish would be a 20-gallon. And the fish that I'm going to cover up front, I'm going to go over all the ones that you can add buddies to. There is a group that I will get to that I would not add buddies to and keep it as a species-only tank. A 20-gallon can get you a number of varieties, including the ram. And who doesn't love rams? They come in a number of different kinds. These are the Bolivian rams, probably my favorite, but they also, you can have gold rams, you can have long fin German blue rams. Also, a Pistos. Pistos are a fun little fish, lots of personality. They come in a wide variety of different patterns, colors. The Panduro has always been one of our favorites. Then you always have the kakatotoids, who has a lot more vibrant color on the tail. And this, of course, is from our experience, what we've had in all of our aquariums throughout the years. So I hope you let me know if I do or do not cover your favorite dwarf cichlids or your favorite buddies for your dwarf cichlids. This 20-gallon long that I had was one of my favorites. I absolutely love them. Now these cribs are really fun to keep. Even in a 20-gallon tank, you will probably get some breeding. And you will also probably get some digging, which keep in mind if you aquascape and you like your scape a certain way, you probably will not wind up with it being that certain way. Nanochromis is a beautiful little fish, a lot of blue, vibrant color. It still blows my mind how small they stay and the fact that you can keep them in a 20-gallon. If you love the electric blue Cara and you want a nano tank, try the Nanochromis. Another dwarf cichlid that's perfect for a 20-gallon tank is like my current obsession, and that's the nanochromis. I adore these little derpy, goofy little guys. They can be kind of little stinkers. They have their own little like turf at the bottom. They dig a little bit, but super fun to have in a 20-gallon tank. And that brings us to the group of dwarf cichlids probably would not add buddies to. Keep it as a species only, and that's the shell dwellers. So you have the multis. Absolutely love the multis with their beautiful blue eyes, their little village behavior. The similis, also a beautiful choice, a little bit of a darker color. But any of the shell dwellers, the multis, the brevis, the gold ocellatus, I would keep them as a species only tank to avoid any issues. They're quite territorial and best to leave them in their own tank. Now for the buddies. I'm going to start with a disclaimer, and these are some of the choices that I would not put in your tank with your dwarf cichlids. Fish that are this small. So any of the little tiny rasboras, the chili mira, dwarf rasboras, the CPDs still a little on the small side, the green cubitai, even ember tetras, I think that they're all just a little bit on the small side. Now it's time to talk about those best tank mates for your dwarf cichlids, and what better place to start would be the tetras. Which tetras would make the best buddies for your dwarf cichlids in a 20-gallon? Of course, any of your neon tetras. So pick your favorite color, and I think they would all work out perfectly fine. The black neon is an excellent choice. They get a little larger. They're very hardy. The diamond head neon tetra, a little something different if you're used to maybe the standard neon. And then of course the green neon, always an excellent choice. It is my favorite. And we've kept these with dwarf cichlids and have had no or minimal issues. And it works out just great. Nice colors to bring to your 20-gallon tank too. The lemon tetra is also a very fun choice. Another good tetra to choose to go with your dwarf cichlids would be the candy cane tetra. It's just a fun-loving little tetra. Gets to be a nice little size, perfect size to keep a school of these in a 20-gallon tank. And they have just that little twitchy tetra behavior with just a little subtle color. Now moving on to rasboras and some of the favorites that we have for keeping with your dwarf cichlids. And number one would be the Harlequin rasbora. It's a cute little rasbora that I frequently forget about, but it can reach maybe about 1.5 inches or so. Nice little size. Also, the rummy nose rasbora, an excellent size and an excellent choice to keep in a community tank. Very peaceful fish with a lot of beautiful color. And another fish that I frequently forget about is the brilliant green rasbora. This is Mr. Primetime's one of his favorites. And with that brilliant, as the name suggests, green color and that red tail, they're just a winner to keep with your dwarf cichlids. Now for some miscellaneous, a Pleco. Might as well keep a Pleco in that 20-gallon tank and they'll get along just fine with your dwarf cichlids. You can get a bristlenose Pleco, or these L11A are beautiful and they're also really quite goofy. So they stay a little bit on the smaller side and they actually will stay out a little bit more. One choice that probably not the best choice to keep with your dwarf cichlids just because of its long flowing tails would be any long fin, like the long fin green dragon Pleco. Might not want to pick that, even though I have in my 22 long, but I never see them. The honey gourami would be an excellent choice. In a 20-gallon, you could even have like 3 or 4. Nice. This was a 15-gallon column tank that I had a couple of them in. Or you can have a dwarf gourami. This was Emmett, and he was in here with my cribs and black neons. It was a fun little tank, and everyone got along just great. Now we might as well cover a couple of options if you like barbs. The snakeskin barb is actually, unlike the name suggests, barb, it kind of makes you think of, well, stinkers, big stinkers. But the snakeskin barb stays a little bit on the smaller side and is just a fun little choice. The other one that I really do love because of the color is the cherry barb. Also stays a little bit on the smaller side, but equally would work out very well with your dwarf cichlids. And of course, you can't forget the Cory cat. Pygmy Corys like these are a little bit on the small side, so I would not pick the Pygmy Cory to keep with your dwarf cichlids, just on the safe side. But any of your other Corys, Adolphoi, one of my favorites. I currently have these, and just a beautiful little Cory that stays a little on the smaller side. And of course, the Panda Cory, another excellent choice. These are two of my favorites. They do stay a little bit on the smaller side when it comes to Corys, but you just can't go wrong keeping Corys with your dwarf cichlids. So that's my list. I hope it gives you some ideas, something to think about. And then again, let me know, what are some of your favorites? Which ones didn't I mention? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.
But I'm right here, it's gone.